made a left, drove 3 blocks, and that was the next stop. Dude, I was crying.
Alright, everybody, welcome to Hot Couch Potato, the podcast where we talk about video games and don't play anything scary. My name is Brett, aka Boo Up. I'm here with my man Rick, aka A New Perfect Day. What's going on, man?
And not much. Just don't forget to pre-register for Comic-Con coming Saturday. Wait, this is going to be coming out Monday. Yeah.
I hope you guys got in.
But dude, I was checking out my Steam, and you know when you open up Steam, you get Steam recommendations. I got a recommendation for a game called Panty Party.
Oh yeah, man. I'm sure, you know, all those hours you put into Galgun, Neko Neko. What was the other one, dude? Honey Pop.
Honey Pop.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive.
They know you pretty well, man. Steam knows you pretty well.
Dude, this game is so fucking hilarious. It's like you're panties, and you're like shooting.
So you're not looking at upskirts. You're playing as panties.
Yeah, you're like panties, and you're like battling other panties, and there's like different types of panties. There's like white panties, polka dot panties. Oh my god, this is fucking funny as shit.
What the fuck, man?
Oh, you gotta check it out. It's called Panty Parties. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna check that out, but thanks, Rick.
Oh shit!
That's
crazy. Happy
dude.
Halloween! Yeah,
yeah, for sure. The day after this drops is Halloween. Hope you guys have a good one. Hope you see all the slutty nurses and what's popping this
That's
year,
in
man?
downtown.
What's a popular costume this year, man?
Shoot, I don't know. What is the theme actually?
Yeah,
it should be maybe Game of Thrones. Everybody dies.
Maybe, yeah. Because I think 2 years ago. 3 years ago it was zombies, then 2 years ago it was pirates, and then I don't know, man. I haven't partied out in Halloween for like 5 years, man, so I have no idea. But back when I was Outros, it was slutty nurses and slutty Alice in Wonderlands and Disney characters. So
oh yeah, so then it has to be Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn.
That's a good call. Oh my god, there is going to be so many Harley Quinns. You are right.
Yeah, downtown, by the way. I don't know that information. I just happened to drive by last year, and I was like, what is going on here?
I was just hanging out and minding my own business when all of a sudden I drove downtown and saw all of these scantily dressed women.
Oh my god, they were trick-or-treating.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, man. So, funny story, man. This kind of goes into what I've been playing this week. But I've been playing, Destiny pretty sparingly. I really only play, like I said, to jump on and talk to our clan, the people that are online. And throughout these conversations, I got finessed into watching this show called Terrace House. Have you heard of this show, man?
No, didn't you tell me to watch something like that? Was it
Yeah,
on
man,
Netflix?
I probably
right?
told you to watch it. Yeah, man. So what this show is, it's a Japanese version of The Real World that was on MTV.
Oh, you were telling me
back in the
I
day.
remember.
Yeah, so I was telling Rick this story, and it happened again today while we were talking about Comic-Con tickets. So it's a Japanese, like I said, Japanese show. It's like The Real World, so these strangers move into the same house or whatever. And I'm watching this show, man, and it's just awkward. I love awkward situations. The Office is my favorite show, dude. To tell you how awkward this show Terrace House is, there's 3 guys and 3 girls that move into the house, and the first thing they ask each other is, "Oh, are you single? What's your type?" And of course, Japanese people are all fucking weird, so they'll never confess their true feelings to anybody. So they're just like tiptoeing around the house like, "Oh, I like you, but I'm never gonna tell you."
Shit.
And then there's these times where 2 guys will like the same girl or 2 girls will like the same guy. and they'll all go out on dates, and then they'll talk to each other about it afterwards and shit. Like these two guys like one girl, and one of them takes her out on a date, and when they get back, the other guy's like, "So, how's your date, man?" And he goes, "Oh, it went well, man. It was really easy to talk to her and all this stuff." And the guy's like, "Oh man, I wish you guys good fortune in your relationship." Like, what the fuck, dude? Who does that, man? Who does that, dude?
Holy crap! What is this show called again?
Terrace House.
Terrace House, and you said it was on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Oh god.
Don't watch.
Gotta check that out.
Don't watch the Aloha State one. I heard that one's shit. I'm on the original season right now, or whatever the first season is on Netflix. And yeah, I've just been binging this, and I think it's because I've been watching it so much, and while I'm watching it, I'm kind of falling asleep. You know what I mean? That the Japanese is rubbing off on me, dude. Like, so the other day, you know, at my job, we rarely get overtime. So someone messaged me the other day and said, "Oh man, they're offering me overtime. I think I'm going to take it," you know? And my initial reaction, you know how before you talk, you kind of think about what you're going to say?
Yeah.
In my head, I was thinking, "Oh, sugoi." And I was like, "No, dude, that's not fucking English. That's fucking Japanese." And I really almost texted the person back, "Sugoi" and shit. And I was like, I'm watching too much Terrace House, dude. It's like ingrained.
You're becoming a weird.
I know, it's ingraining in my fucking brain. And so the reason I was reminded of this right now is because when you were talking about, "Oh, I hope everybody got their Comic-Con tickets," guess what the first word that popped in my head was?
Sugoi.
It was
Tanoshi.
No, it was fucking ganbate, man. Which means like good fortune or good luck. And the only reason I know that phrase in Japanese is because all these motherfuckers wish each other luck when they're dating the girl they like. It's so...
Oh, wow. You're ready. You're ready for Japan, my friend.
I think I need to calm down on this show, man.
No, you're ready.
I do have a question, because you know a little bit of Japanese, right?
A little.
What does
very, very little.
Honto ni mean?
Means really.
So what does majide mean?
Means really.
So what's the difference? Is they like for different situations, or depending if you're talking to an elder or something?
It's like, I don't know. Like, hontoni is like, really? I guess that's like in a nice way. I don't know. See, I'm no expert, but and majide is like, I don't know. To me, it sounds slang in Japanese. I'm no expert, but
okay.
Yeah, I know that like the politeness, they would be like hontoni.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to, like, I don't know, go to a liquor store over there, and when the guy tells me my beer is cheaper than I think, I can't be like, "Majide?" I have to be like, "Oh, really?" Or like, "Hontoni?" Like, since I don't know him like that.
Hontoni? Yeah. Hontoni?
Okay, man. There you go. Japanese lessons with Buapin, A New Perfect Day, dude. We'll just need 2 monthly payments of $2.99. Yeah, dude. And this is after, man, I've watched so many hours of anime coming up, like in junior high and high school, and Japanese just never stuck to me like that. I think I only learned fucking haiku or something from watching anime.
Like hurry or something.
Yeah, because motherfuckers are always running in anime, so they have to emphasize, "Oh, run faster." But I never picked up as much Japanese as I have from watching fucking Terrace House, dude. I might need to slow my roll. But I need to find out what happens next episode. So horrible side effect of playing Destiny and not really having anything to do in the game. But yeah, man, so that's what I've been doing this week, just watching a lot of Japanese drama or reality TV. What have you been up to, man?
Just been playing Witcher 3. I just started it back up because I know I gotta beat the game, but I did everything but that. I went to like one of the shores and I saw a dragon sitting on the shore and it had like a chest under him, so I fought the dragon. Yeah. But I didn't fight it like legit, like normal people do. They go up and like just fight it. I was like doing like a hit and run kind of thing because I was fucking weak. I was getting wrecked so much. And then after that, I went in the woods and I was getting chased by a giant werewolf. And then when I was in the shores, I was getting chased by sirens in the sky.
What the
those
hell?
flying birds. Yeah, dude. Like if you're on a boat and you're like kind of in the middle of nowhere, you'll see these sirens kind of following you, or they'll be swimming under you. So in order to make them fall out of the sky, you either have to have good combat skills
Mhm.
or use a horn to when they get near, which will blast them. But that only works when
Oh.
you're on the ground.
Mhm.
And then other than that, I've just been gathering gear. It's like, dude, I've just been putting it off to actually complete this damn game. I gotta complete it. But yeah. I've been trying to get into. I haven't really watched much, but have you heard of a show called Westworld?
Yes, I have.
Is it good? Because like to me, I was
Oh,
like, man,
man.
I really want to play like John Marston kind of stuff. So
Oh,
I thought that was
man.
gonna be like that kind of thing. So it's interesting so far because apparently it's supposed to be like a world with androids, and they're like, I don't know, like self discovery of themselves. They're becoming conscious of their own existence.
What
Have
episode
you
are you
watched
on,
that?
dude?
Dude, I'm only like 20 minutes in from the first episode.
Oh, okay. Um, so the person that produced Westworld is, oh man, I forget his name. But Christopher Nolan, the dude that did all the Batman movies,
Yeah.
it's his brother that produced Westworld.
Oh,
So
wow.
that whole
Holy shit.
series is like a long Batman. Like if Batman the movie was split up into a show, it would be that. Because you know how in each one of those movies, there's the story and then there's flashbacks scattered here and there. And then in
Yeah.
the end, they connect everything.
Yeah.
That's how Westworld plays out. And it's fucking amazing, dude.
Damn.
What's another
okay, I
movie
got
that
it,
does that?
yeah.
Inception. Inception
Ye-
is the same kind of way where, you follow the whole story of basically this heist of changing this guy's mind so he can disperse the company, But in
Yeah.
between that story is Leonardo DiCaprio's story of self-discovery and closure with his dead wife and shit. You know what I mean? And by
Yeah.
completing that part of his life, he can finish this mission of changing this guy's mind. So yeah, it's like 10 episodes of Inception and Batman
Your
all put
mind
together.
blown.
Yeah.
Shit.
By the 9th episode, so there's like some mind fucking things that happen pretty early on. Maybe I'll say the 5th or 6th episode, where you think you have the world figured out, and then episode 5 happens and you go, what the fuck? No way. And then it happens again in episode 9 where you're like, what? I thought I made sense of this again. And then in episode 10, they kind of wrap everything up and have this one last great reveal. But it is kind of slow.
Fuck.
It is kind of slow, man, but stick with it. It's definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting so far. Like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be in the Western area and with cowboys and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And it's supposed to be what, like rich people that have this world to themselves where they
So-
can do anything they want.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. So I'll say it's kind of like video games, where this
Yeah.
is advanced VR. You know what I mean? Where if you would put on VR and go into an open world, in the VR game, and you could look around and walk around and stuff. But this is a video game more in real life because everything you interact with is an android or an NPC. But you can touch them, you can feel them and stuff. You can kill them, but of course they're androids, so you could just build them back up, And depending on who you talk to in Westworld, there's different storylines within that world, So you can be in town and talk to somebody, and he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a posse together to capture these outlaws," and you could ride with him and go and kill those outlaws. Or there's a side quest, for lack of better terms, of this guy that needs help in his bar or something, and you can help him pour drinks for everybody. I think there's some people that go into Westworld and just get drunk and fuck the prostitutes or something, or fuck the androids. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. It ties a lot into video games too, which is why I think you'll enjoy it. The only thing is, for sure, it starts kind of slow, but just kind of power through the first 3 episodes and it'll start to get super interesting, man. And
gotcha.
Call me or something whenever you finish an episode or you have something to say, because it's very limited. People don't really watch that show, but it's very limited in like who does and who I could talk to about without spoiling it. So let me know, man, when you get to certain parts.
Will do.
Because that show is great. Because I love Christopher Nolan's work, man. I think Inception is like my favorite movie, dude, of all time. One of my favorite movies of all time. So, and the way that show played out is exactly the same, and I think it's amazing, dude. That's for everybody else too. Everybody else, please check out Westworld and text me every time you finish an episode and let me know your thoughts. My number is 619. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm gonna bust that out there. But dude, I'm excited for you. Actually, I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting so far. I was like, holy shit, the way things are, being played out. And I was thinking, okay, this guy's the protagonist, and I'm like, whoa, he is kind of not.
Yeah, the lines are for sure blurred in that show between who you should be rooting for and who you shouldn't be rooting for. There's some episodes where like, man, this guy's an asshole, and then other episodes you're like, oh man, you better not let him punk you. You know what I mean? So yeah, that show is great for sure. That it makes you feel different ways like that. But that's awesome, dude. But yeah, in the Halloween spirit, this week we'll be talking about scary games.
Boo.
Rick's imitating a ghost there. Now, if there's really anything, I don't know how many times I've stated this, anything you know about Rick and I is we hate scary stuff. Whether it's a movie, a video game, TV show, whatever, dude. Scary stuff, not for me. In fact, I've only been to the haunted trails once in my life. And fortunately, I was with 2 smaller Asian girls. I was with Camille and Jennifer, man, when we went to haunted trails at Balboa Park. So all the dudes were trying to scare them instead of me. So I was like, yes, you guys just go for it. I think at one point, because I went, it was us 4. It was Camille, Jennifer, Marcel, and me. And we were just walking in. At one point, I think I was so scared I let Jennifer and Camille walk in front of us. And they get scared by this clown. And the clown looks at me like, dude, aren't you guys supposed to be scared in front of them, like leading the way? And I was like, nah, man, just do your job, bro. I was like, let them do their thing, man. But yeah, that was the great part, is they were so concentrated on scaring the girls that they could give a shit about me.
Using them as good bait, my
Exactly.
True mastermind right there.
Shout out City of Heroes, by the way. But yeah, man, I mean, that's the only time I've ever been, and thank God I was with 2 little Asian girls, man, because if they tried to scare me, it would have been horrible. Wait, no, I'm lying. I've been to Not Scary Farm. Or was it Not Scary Farm? Or it was Universal Studios during Halloween time. And they have, dude, have you ever been to like a haunted house or anything like that?
I think there was one in like downtown San Diego, like a haunted kind of house area. And yeah, that was the only one I've ever been to, and the last one I've ever been to.
It was pretty scary though. Were they grabbing you and stuff like that?
No, they're just making a lot of sounds and shit, and banging against the wall, and like the pop-up scares would always get me, like guarantee it. Like, oh, I think I went through the whole thing with my eyes closed, and I was just holding I was holding whoever was in front of me on their shoulder. I was like, please just guide me out.
Oh man. So the other one I went to was in Universal Studios, and we were there around Halloween time, which is why I was there. And it was the worst, man. I mean, just think about all the scary movies, because it's Universal Studios, right? So it's all related to movies. So they had I don't know, man. Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Freddy Krueger was out
Shit.
there, and like every room had like a different theme for a different movie. And there were two that were just the worst for me. That almost made me poop my pants for real. There was this one, we're getting chased by this werewolf-looking guy, and we get chased into this room, and it's a kid's room, so of course it's Chucky. And
Oh fuck, man.
there's Chucky dolls just everywhere in this room,
No.
right? And I'm like, oh god, dude, Chucky's gonna like jump out. This guy with a Chucky mask is gonna jump out of one of these toy boxes. It's gonna be horrible. This time I didn't have the
Protection.
the protection of two little Asian girls. You know what I mean? So I was damn in front, and there's Chucky dolls everywhere. And of course, they're not human sized, so you don't think about anything with these Chucky dolls. But one of them fucking gets up. So it was like a little person dressed up as Chucky, jumped up, looked at me, and like flinched towards me. Man, my whole body just went cold. I was like, hell no, dude. I thought you were a doll. You know what I'm saying? And I just pieced the fuck out of there, dude. It was fucking horrible. And then the very, very last room was, I don't know if it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I wasn't paying attention. It was some big dude with a scary mask on, wearing like butcher's clothing. And then there was bodies hanging from the ceiling from chains and stuff, right?
Oh god.
But they were like punching bags, so and they were narrow, so you actually, when you walked through them, you had to touch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had my arms crucifix style, just like touching my shoulders, man, the whole time, walking through arms crossed so I wouldn't touch anything. The guy's like standing there all creepy, just staring at you. You know what I mean? And I'm bumping into these body bags / punching bags. And I bump into one, and it moves, dude.
Oh
So someone is inside this thing that's hanging, and I kind of feel the arm like tap my shoulder, and I screamed. I'm like, ah! I just pieced the fuck out, man. The worst experience ever, dude.
Oh no.
And the thing with me is scary movies, whatever. It really doesn't linger with me. I don't get nightmares or anything like that. Doesn't matter if I walk around in the dark in my house, pee in the bathroom while it's dark, and say Bloody Mary into the mirror. I really don't care about that stuff. It's just, I hate the feeling I get when I get jump scared. It just takes everything.
Clench your butthole.
It takes everything in me to not squeeze a poop out of my butt whenever I get jump scared, dude. I'm just like, all of my will is just in my butt cheeks whenever I get jump scared. And I just hold it in, man. Just hold it in. So that's the only thing with me. Scary stuff, cool, whatever. You can tell me a scary story. Just don't jump scare me, and I'll be fine, dude. Is that how it is with you, or do you legit get nightmares and stuff? Or
Dude, I legit get nightmares when I'm just
what?
watching a movie, watching a documentary, or the ones that usually scare me is when I like watch these YouTube videos. And I hate this because when you have recommendations on YouTube during the day, you get like stuff you previously looked at. But during the night, for some reason, I keep getting like documentaries of like ghosts or unexplained things. And my dumbass always clicks them because I'm curious. I'm like, what is this video about? And then sometimes it scares me so much. I have to turn the light on. I can't use the bathroom anymore, even though I really need to, or I just need someone to be around me. It's so scary, It's just because I think it's the imagination part of, you think it's going to be there. And I remember like there was this one video, like I don't care if it was fake or real or whatnot, but it was like one scene where the guy was like opening a door and he sees like a dark shadow. Like it was dark, so he sees the dark shadow in a corner, and then it kind of like it was like a little figure, like a child-sized figure, but it was like deformed. So he's like, "What is that?" So he like closes the door. He opens the door again. It's still there, and then he closes it again, and then he opens it, and the third time he opens it, it's standing up, And oh my god, I was crying like so much. I couldn't even stop it. I wanted to see what's happening. So he closes it one more time. He opens it, and the thing starts to walk to him, and he slams the door. And I was crying. I couldn't sleep the entire night, dude. I was like, oh my god, legit scared. I was like, man, my imagination is crazy.
Man, there's a couple YouTube videos like that scared me a shit ton too. You've probably seen this one where it's a person looking down a hallway, and they'll turn off the lights in the hallway, and then there's a silhouette there, just standing in the middle of the hallway.
Fucking hate that.
And then they'll turn on the lights, and there's nobody there. They turn it off, and there's that silhouette again. Oh, yeah. Dude, that one fucks me up. And then what's the other one? I think there's one where there is like a ghost or some kind of figure at the end of a hallway, and then there's this little girl that's like looking at it, and then she looks back at the camera and kind of laughs, like it's a joke, just really not worried about this thing. And then she turns back around, and this thing just friggin' runs towards her, and then the clip ends.
No.
So
these
crazy,
guys are pretty good at making these YouTube videos, whether it's real or fake. It's just my imagination explodes, so they're pretty good at that.
Just years of scaring people, dude, culminating into that stuff. But yeah, man, so this week we're gonna talk about scary games. Believe it or not, as we discussed last week, I've played a good share of scary games like Dead Space, but there's a lot out there that I would never really touch. So we'll go back and forth, man. Why don't you name a scary game that you've played?
Resident Evil, 1 and 2 and 5. I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast, and latest I played was 5 with Danny. After
Is that one even scary, dude?
No, it was really action based.
Yeah.
But the first 2, I was actually I think I was pretty little. And I remember one scene that scared me the most. It was like a simple scene. It was like the crows, and they're like chasing you. Oh god, man! I think I had legit nightmares for like a week, and I couldn't play the game anymore. But I had to summon up the courage to finish the game because you're little and you want to gloat to other people that you beat a scary game, but. After that point, just Resident Evil series. Before at least 5, it was pretty scary, and you only have so much limited ammo to beat the certain area to get to the next one. You only have a certain amount of saves too.
Yeah,
and golly, that was the pain in the butt. Yeah, and then you're near dying, and then I hate when the stupid lickers pop out of the window. You're going down the hallway, and you really legit know that something's gonna pop out. You're mentally always preparing yourself, but no matter how much you prepare yourself, it I don't know, my butthole clenches so much. I can hold a strong piece of weight, but it's just, oh man, the jump scares in that game always gets me, especially when they hide behind the door or they grab your leg and you gotta shake them off.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot in Resident Evil 2, because I'm with you right there. That's a scary game that I played, and in Resident Evil 2 there's a point where you have to walk back down that hallway, and there's windows with just broken boards, and the zombies reach in and grab you and shit. It doesn't do any damage or anything, but they're just there to scare you, man. That one's the worst. And then there's another one. I want to say it's the back door to the police station. It's where the story B starts, essentially. And it's this door. You open it, and it has that same door animation, just like any other door. Except, once the door opens and you walk through, a zombie walks the other way.
Grabs you. I remember.
Dude.
Oh my god.
And when you spawn back into the regular game, you're in the same room, except there's 2 zombies in front of you now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and then let's say you kill them, and you get rid of them. You try to open that door again, and the guy's like, "Yeah, we're not gonna do that. It's too dangerous to go outside." It's something so simple, because you've seen this door opening animation a million times, and this is the only time where they have zombies in that animation coming back at you, dude. So I'm definitely with you on Resident Evil, the OG ones for sure, especially with how old we were. I mean, we must have been 10, 12 or something like that
pretty
when we
young,
played those. Yeah,
8 to 10. Yeah.
because I remember the first time I played it, my cousins actually spent the night at my house because we wanted to finish it. Mistake, because we ended up playing it late at night,
No.
and then we turn off the game and we're all in the same room getting ready to sleep. And my fucking cousin, man, he goes, "Hey, stop standing in the middle of the room." And I'm sitting here like, "No, nobody's there." He goes, "Dude, stop standing in the middle of the room." No. Under my covers the entire fucking night, dude. But yeah, a scary game I've played, surprisingly, now that I'm thinking about it, is Amnesia: Dark Descent. And
Ooh.
I think this was the beginning of really those scary PC games that were coming out, right? Where it was first person, you really couldn't do anything except for pick up keys and put them into locks and open them to advance to the next area, right? You can't really fight against the monsters in here. But that game I didn't finish. I think I made it halfway through. And there's this point where you're in this, I want to say it's the cellar or the basement or something. And it's flooded. So there's water that's about ankle high, and you're walking around, and all of a sudden this gate closes behind you in the last room, and you hear these footsteps. You hear like the pitter patter of water, and you look around and you don't see anything. And all of a sudden you turn one way and you just see footsteps. The enemy's invisible. The only way you could tell where he is why his footsteps are, because the water's there. And it plays this scary music, and I'm just trying to open the door with the key, but of course I have the wrong key, so I have to run around. And this thing ultimately gets me and kills me. Ugh.
Oh god.
I never played it after that. I'd never play that game again after that, dude. What's another scary game you've played, man?
I didn't really play it a lot, but there's one game I was playing with Danny and Eric, and we were playing Fatal Frame.
Ooh.
It was like that Japanese game where you have like a special camera to get rid of ghosts, and I don't know who got the idea that taking pictures of ghosts would be a fun game, but there's this couple of scenes that scared me. It was like you had to like crawl under a crawl space, and you already know, I don't know who in the right mind would even consider crawling under a crawl space to begin with. But we had to crawl through it in order to progress in the game, and you already know that there's going to be something that's going to grab you. And I remember like me, Danny, and Eric were like super far back from like the TV. We're like against the wall basically, and we're like, dude, we got to do this. We got to get through this. And we're crawling, and right when we like turn the corner, we see a ghost like grab us. Like, oh my god, I swear I thought I pooed a little bit. Like I came with a little brown stain in my underwear, but oh my god, we all screamed so loud. And I just remember we're trying to take pictures of the ghosts, because you have to take the picture of their face in order to like get rid of them. But we were just taking pictures of like us struggling. They were taking a picture of the arm of the ghost, and we're like, ah! And then we just paused the game, and like we're like, okay, we need to take a break. But the one that really like scared us the most, to the point where I think we all stopped playing it, was when Danny was like, we were in like a room, and it wasn't even, I don't know, we were just hanging out in this room, and we had to go through a door, and then all of a sudden like you just hear a loud knock, and all of us like jumped, and like we just like threw the controller at the ground. And it turns out it wasn't even a ghost behind the door. It was just like a normal NPC just knocking on the door. And at that point we're like, okay, we're gonna stop playing this game now.
Oh shit, dude. See, I've never played that one. That's a game I would probably never play, because it just has that reputation of being super scary.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even like scary. It's like creepy scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that too. But speaking of playing, that's the great thing about scary games, right? Is you get to play with your friends and kind of experience it together,
Yeah.
Kind of like going to a haunted house with Asian girls so that they can get scared instead of you. You can have someone be your buffer against anything scary. But I remember that one time when you, Eric, and I we played The House, a Flash game that was scary.
God.
Where you just have to investigate different parts of a room and scary shit would just pop out at you and shit like that, man. The scariest part of us playing that game, I think, was when we were in a room. It was maybe the second to last room of the game. And there was a picture of a dead baby or something, you know, but it wasn't too gruesome. It was just like the baby was sleeping, but the baby's birthday and death date was on the back of the photo, right? And with this game, you have to click things multiple times, get a reaction out of the room, and then check things again to see if anything changed. With this fucking baby picture, you know, we got so desensitized to it. We're like, oh, cool, dead baby, whatever, you know, because we're clicking it over and over. And then the one time we don't expect it, we click the dead baby picture, and we look at it for 2 seconds, and a scary hand just grabs it from the screen and pulls it down, dude.
Yes!
And it makes a loud noise. Oh my god.
Oh, I remember.
I might still have it recorded. But you can see all of us. I think you're wearing your fucking motorcycle helmet.
Yup.
You're so scared. But you see all of us just flinch.
Dude, I did not sleep for like 2 days or something like that. I had to sleep with the lights on. I was so scared at that point.
But yeah, that was The House. I think that was part 2 that we did on that one. And I mean, there's other scary parts in that game too. Like when the little girl, she comes up to you like The Ring, you know, and then with her hair all over her face, and then she lifts her face and it's all scary and shit, man.
Yeah.
But that was the one that really stood out to me of scaring me for real, man. That jump scare fucked me up. That was one of those butt clenchers for sure, dude. But yeah, any other scary games you play, man?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the previous, I think from the first podcast or second. It was when we were playing Slender Man in your backyard.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, that was the first time I actually like thought I pulled a rib or something like that because I was playing, and that was the time when the game was really popular. And we're in your backyard. You know, your backyard is really scary at night because you have like trees and darkness, and you know, Slender Man could be just peeking over while we're playing. But I remember like playing on your little Mac, and I was like, oh no, dude, I don't want to play this game. And you're like, nah, just start collecting the notes and stuff like that. And then what? I don't remember what the music cue was when Slender Man was getting close to you. Oh no, the screen was start to
it would start to
fuzz out,
have static. Yeah.
And then you have to like kind of just run away or something like that. And I remember like I didn't run away fast enough, and Slender Man like grabbed me, and I jerked so much I like flew in the back of the bench, and I thought I pulled a rib, and you were teaching me about like, yeah, if you get scared, you know, it's natural instinct to clench your butthole. So that's why I was like, what is this information? But now I'm gonna make sure I check my butthole at all times. Because it's true, you know, you clench your stomach, dude, and you're like, you hope for the best. But dude, I think that was the only time I ever played a game where I like actually jumped back and like pulled a rib. So
yeah, man, that was gonna be one of mine too. A Slender Man. I remember we played that even at your house too. I think afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game. Looking back at it, that game's not that scary now.
Yeah.
But that's only because things have come out that are way scarier than that. And it wasn't just that, but just the whole lore behind that game. You know, how it was a true story. There was that YouTube video that came out with pictures of Slender Man in the background of pictures from the 30s and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then that whole thing happened where 2 girls that were like 12 years old killed one of their friends in real life
in real life, yeah,
to fucking sacrifice her to Slender Man. Yeah, man.
Shit.
So it was more than just the game, but just the whole culture that surrounded it that made it creepy too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that one for sure was a rib puller and butt clencher. Another game I played which doesn't seem that scary, but then once you start getting more into it, it gets a lot scarier, is Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. Now, this is a free game on Steam, and you really just walk into rooms and go down hallways, and it counts the rooms that you go in. I guess each room is a floor. And it starts out pretty cute. You know, Spooky is the host of this mansion, and she's this purple anime ghost. All the art style is kind of like Adventure Time, where it's super cartoony and simplistic.
Yeah, it's just like Minecraft kind of view, and you're like running through. You have to keep going through rooms or going up. Basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of the rooms, nothing happens. You just walk through the room, and that's it. You walk through the room. You know what I mean? But in some of the rooms, a cardboard pop out will come out, and it'll be this cute pink cloud. It just goes boo, and you go, oh, you know, I wasn't expecting a jump scare, so that kind of freaked me out. But you're cute, so it's cool, and you just keep walking through, you know. And then you get to floors 100 and 200, and things start to get a little bit darker. You start finding these little notes, like in Slender Man, that say, he's after me, he has many eyes, he's gonna take my eyes, or something like that, you know. And then before you know it, someone starts chasing you, and you could look behind you and see him chasing you. That's when you just start booking it, you know. And you get so caught up with the guy that's chasing you, a jump scare happens, those little cutesy things pop out the wall again, but it's that much scarier because there's someone else behind you too, and it's out of your mind. And then when you do get caught, it plays like this cutscene where your eyes are getting pulled out from your sockets, and it's just all around a bad time, dude. That game goes from 0 to 100 real quick on the scariness factor, man. Because, you know, you go through it, the first 5 minutes, it's like, oh, this is fun, you know, this is little stuffed animals trying to jump scare me, whatever. And then you play it for more than 30 minutes, and you go, okay, what did I get myself into? So, and that's the start of just all these free games that you can download, but are popular because they're scary as shit, right? And YouTubers out there play these games, have these outlandish reactions to them, and that's how they get popular, right? Like PewDiePie, Markiplier, isn't his whole career based off of just playing scary games and stuff, man?
Yeah, I think his first video was playing Amnesia, and then it got so many views after that point, where he was just, everybody would just watch him because of the reactions, you know, these people make. And I guess people like seeing other people get scared, and so I was like, maybe we should have
no, I'm okay.
A hot couch potato play.
I'm okay, dude. I'm sweating right now thinking about these games, bro. Like, for real,
dude. Like, I'm like turning my back, turning around. I'm like, I hope no one's behind me, you know.
Well, have you played any of those, you know, free to play scary games besides, I guess, Slender Man? Because that was one of them.
The last one I think I played was PT.
Okay.
That was with me, you, and Eric. Dang, us three again. But anyways, I just remember wearing my motorcycle helmet, and I was so afraid to touch the controller because we were playing so late at night, and oh my god, that game scared the shit out of me. It's just like, you know, you're always going down the hall, turning the corner, then you got to do these cues and you don't know what's going on, and I don't know. It's just the way the ambiance was created, the creepiness, and all that. They're pretty good at doing all that stuff. Especially, I thought that was going to be a good game too. You know,
it would have been.
It was supposed to be a good. It was a demo, but what I liked the most, and I think that was the only thing, it was like where you had to say hello in the microphone of your controller or something like that, and it would answer back. And that's how you would unlock the secret ending or something. And yeah, that was the last scary game I ever played, and that will be the last one I'll ever play.
That one's crazy though, man. For real.
Yeah.
Like, that came out, I want to say 2-3 years ago. That dropped during E3 or Gamescom, and no one had any idea. I think they showed people playing the game and them being scared, so nobody had any idea. They were just like, okay, PT, let's try this out. It's a scary game. And that was really just the internet coming together and figuring out how to finish that game. You know what I mean? Because nobody knew what to do. I think you had to collect pieces of a letter, right? What's up with these scary games and letters, dude? But you had to pick up these pieces of a letter, you know, and put them together and then figure out what that message was. And then a certain thing would play on the radio. You would see something different in the bathroom. You know, different things would happen depending on pieces of this letter that you found. And the letter was hidden where? You know, under the telephone table, somewhere in the bathroom, under the toilet, just in different parts. The craziest one was, remember you had to pause the game and press down R3 or one of the joysticks, and that would give you a piece of the letter too.
And then I'll give something in the pause menu, dude.
That was crazy, dude. And it's the most genius marketing thing, because there was no hint of Silent Hills coming out ever again. You know what I mean? Then you put together this demo that's scaring the shit out of people, gets everybody involved in communicating about, oh, what do we do here? What does this mean? How do we get past this? Oh, hey guys, I did this and the baby cried or the baby laughed. What does this mean? You know, it got so much buzz. And then all of a sudden at the end of it, you throw down, oh, hey, this is Silent Hills, by the way, with the guy from Walking Dead, which is a huge hit right now.
Yep.
Being made by Hideo Kojima, who is about to drop Metal Gear 5, and Guillermo del Toro, the master of scary movies. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing that's ever going to be dropped as good as that ever again, man. It's just nothing, because no one had no idea, and the way they presented it was that great that it got people excited as they were playing, and once they find out it was attached to something they already love, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, especially like when they pulled it off of the PlayStation Store, everybody went crazy, and you know, like everyone would back up their hard drives to make sure that they have that extra copy of PT, so they'll never ever lose it again, because it was just very ingenious of how that game came together. You know, the community came together to figure these things out, and even though I don't like scary games, I think I still have it in my my library.
Same here, and it's so unassuming. I think I ran into it the other day when I was just going down my files, and because it's a picture of a tree stump in a forest, and you go, okay, what the fuck? What game is this? And then you remember, oh, PT, that's right.
Physical training. Physical butthole training.
Yeah. And how bootleg is it, now that I'm thinking about it, how bootleg is it that Resident Evil 7, the first demo that ever came out for that, mirrors fucking PT?
Yeah.
Like with the phone call, with the first person view in the room and all that. That's so funny, man. I wonder if Silent Hills ever really did come out, if it would have been that good. It probably would have been way better than Resident Evil 7, you think?
Yeah, it should have been. You know, speaking of Resident Evil 7, I thought the demo was based on it being like a paranormal kind of thing, like ghosts and stuff like that. And when you actually play the game, it turns out like it's actually, you know, something physical and tangible.
Yeah, it's more of the same T-virus stuff.
Yeah.
Because they did. I think people posted up screenshots of a ghost similar from PT being in the demos of Resident Evil 7. So I don't know, man. Maybe they were just playing it up to get those sales up. But
yeah, ghosts are scary as shit, man. Because it's like the unknown.
Like you said, it's not tangible. You know, with the virus and thing, it's easier to understand.
Yep.
But yeah, as these trend of free scary games that were independently developed came out, there was one. It was actually started from a website called SCP, and what was Secure, Contain, and something? I'm gonna look it up right now. Actually,
Secure, Contain, and Protect.
There you go. And basically, this website is just a wiki of a bunch of copy pastas of scary stories and shit like that. And someone compiled all these scary stories into a game. There's one scary story in this SCP website just about a never-ending staircase in a building. Like, no matter what, you keep walking down, it just never ends. And they have these SCP scientists, I'm saying with air quotations, that send people down there with radios and shit to try to figure out, okay, what really happens to people? And there's recordings of their experiences, and every single person that goes down there dies.
Shit.
And I think the most accurate description they have is a guy that's going down there and he's like, there's this floating face in front of me. I'm trying to touch it. But the farther he walks down, the further away that face goes until eventually something cuts him off from communicating with the doctors outside. So this became a game where that's all you do is you just walk down this staircase over and over until I think there's ambient noises kind of similar to PT where it's just someone scratching a wall or some static in the background or just some white noise that just doesn't sound right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it kinda,
I think it amplifies too as like the deeper you go down those stairs.
Yeah, you keep going down, it gets a little bit louder, a little bit creepier, and then all of a sudden, yeah, sure enough, that white face turns up and it comes out to grab you like out of nowhere. And before you know it, you think to yourself, I've been walking down the stairs in this video game for 30 minutes just to get jump scared. I deleted that shit so quick off of my computer. It was such bullshit, man. But the beauty of that game too, because afterwards I started watching YouTube videos. Apparently where that face pops up is different for everybody. So I played the game for half an hour before that happened. I was watching a video where this guy was playing the game for almost 3 hours and nothing happened to him. He was still going down the stairs, hearing the crazy noises and stuff like that. So it's crazy. And I wonder if that came out before PT or after PT.
I think it might have been before.
Yeah, I'll have to look up when that game got released. See, and that's the thing too. I'm always wary about downloading these free scary games because who knows what you're downloading. What if they change one of your files? You know, they put a program in your computer. Oh, whenever you open up Google Chrome, it'll take you to a scary website. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people can do that, dude. So that's why I'm a little bit more wary now about things, because I have this code that I can send people, and it looks like a notepad file, right? A .txt, but it's actually ooh, you might have to help me out with this, man. A .vop. Does that make any sense to you?
VOP? I don't know.
It runs a script on your computer. So then if you do open it, nothing opens, but your CD tray will open and close every 5 seconds. I have another one too where I can email it to somebody and their caps lock will turn on and off every 2 seconds. So if they try to type, it'll be like uppercase and lowercase over and over. So I know the possibilities that that's just me. And I don't even mess around with shit like that. So if one of these guys has you download their game and hides that little script in there, you're screwed, man. So I'm super wary now. So we've talked a little bit about the games that we have played. What are games that you will never play in your life, dude? Because they're just too scary.
Games that I will never play. Well, I will never play any games. Wait, what? They're scary.
Oh, okay, that are scary. Okay.
Yeah. But that's to the point where I ended up watching other players play, like YouTubers like Markiplier, and there's two that like kind of scared me a lot. It was called the first one was called The Witch's House. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
Oh god, you should watch it. It's like only like a 2-bit kind of sprite. It's like, I don't know, it feels a little cartoony, but when you're just watching the story unravel during the gameplay, it's very deep and it's very creepy. The way the story builds up, and it's like you're this little girl and you get lost, and I think you just end up going to the witch's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you're trapped inside the witch's house. You're trying to figure out how to get outside, get back out, but you have to go through a bunch of puzzles. And, you know, most of these rooms have all these puzzles that can kill you. Oof. But the thing is, it's not that makes it like creepy. It's just, you know, you have always someone that's just stalking you, watching you every move you make and every turn you make around the corner. It's like instant death, and then you start learning the lore behind it of how the house came to be and all that. And there's like a huge twist at the end of the game, and it just creeps me out. So watch I would say watch Markiplier play that game, because you don't have to play the game itself, but you'll have a little bit of nightmares. There's a lot of jump scares in that game. But I'll never play that game by myself or with anybody. I'll watch someone else play the game, but I have to have somebody else in the house next to me while I'm watching you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Scary games you're interested in but probably would never play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ones that catch your interest. Because that's the fucked up part, right? For me, if there's anything, I love stories. You know what I mean? I love stories in video games. I'd rather take that over good gameplay or whatever. Scary movies usually have great stories. Right, same thing with games as well. They usually have great stories. For example, Five Nights at Freddy's has super deep lore that there's hours of YouTube videos made about why these things are possessed, who they're possessed by. The animatronics at the Chuck E. Cheese or the Freddy's place, whatever. Like why they're acting the way they are. There's hours and hours of YouTube videos out there explaining the story. And I watch these and I think, oh man, this is actually really interesting, about this kid and his brother and everything that happens. But I would never play this game. Because the only thing you do in this game is flip switches and make sure you're looking at the right places so the monster doesn't run through the door and scare you, man. It's like there's nothing else to do in that game but get scared, which is why I would never play it, dude. But yeah, man, are there other games like that where you're interested in them, but like you said, would never play them just because they're a scary game?
One more I have is I've watched another person play it, but have you heard of a game called Ao Oni? It's like a purple monster.
No, I've never heard of this.
Oh, okay, so it's another game that's like a sprite, but the story behind it is crazy. So you're like a group of friends or whatnot, and you walk into this mansion, but you're like seeking shelter or something like that, and the door locks. So you're trying to figure out how to. I don't know what it is with games and trying to escape, but
that's the essence. So if you have a game with locked doors, trying to get out of it, and leaving little notes everywhere. Perfect scary game. We cracked the code.
Exactly. So, but in this one, you have to figure out a bunch of puzzles while something is chasing you. And, this monster is just like a purple, I don't know, it's kind of scary. It just looks pretty funny looking, but the more you like look into it, it's like, it looks pretty creepy. And this thing chases you and your friends are like confused, so you all kind of split up and you have to try to find your friends and at the same time escape. But what you noticed is when they get caught, they get eaten. And so like you try to run and hide, and then the next time you're like out and about solving different puzzles, you see another monster but with some characteristics of that person that was eaten. So if it's like hair, you'll see like hair of that on the second monster. So like it looks like the monster like grew, after being eaten. And that's what's more scarier too. It's like you're trying to unravel the mystery of like what the monster is, but trying to escape. And it turns out, like, a little bit spoiler if you want to watch this, but yeah. So all of your friends get eaten. And you're like basically at the end trying to you're like near the end trying to get out, and it turns out like you enter this room in the basement, and it's like a bunch of those monsters, and you can see all of your friends too, like as the monsters. And I forget like which part happens, like something, you solve a puzzle and you go back to that room and the door is open and there's no more monsters. So now you have to worry about all the monsters that are running around about in the mansion. And when you get to the last part, you like manage to escape free. And then the monster, the main monster is chasing you, but he stops in the forest while you're still running away in the forest. And you like kind of turn back and look, and the monster's just staring at you. And then you just like run away. And then at that point, it's like you never see your friends ever again. So that creeped me out. A lot.
What's this game
And
called?
Ao Oni.
Ni?
Aoi Oni.
Okay.
They even made like a parody of the Attack on Titan. with those monsters. I gotta show you that link.
Okay.
Before it, but it's funny as shit. But anyways, yeah, that game was very interesting. The story was really good, and it was very creepy. You know, these games are they build up all these creepiness of the game, even though you know, like you're used to all the jump scares and stuff chasing you. It's just when you have that imagination of the background and you want to unravel that mystery of what the monster is, like Slenderman, you know. It's just it makes it more creepy.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah.
That is more than just the game. You know, it leaks out into other things too.
Yeah.
Ugh. And I think that's the same thing with me with SCP. So I mentioned before that Staircase was just one article on that SCP website. There's tons of these things. And someone made a game about the SCP. I guess it's a foundation. Secure, contain, and protect. They have all these scary things, all these weird oddities in one laboratory, right? The game is you're a scientist in this laboratory, and of course the power goes out and everything breaks loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of the crazy things is on this website, there's this creature that breaks your neck if no one's looking at him, right? So they have a file on him on that SCP website, and it says whenever we feed him or clean his cage, there has to be at least 3 people in there at the same time, and everybody has to be looking at him at least one person has to be looking at him at any given time, or else he'll break all your necks, right? And then the most ridiculous part, which makes me chuckle whenever I read it, it says that you have to call out when you're blinking. Because if everybody blinks at the same time, that means he's out of sight, so he'll break all your necks. And this monster thing, this creature isn't even that scary looking. He just has this blank stare. He's this big yellow kind of just thing. You know what I mean? So in the game, what they incorporated is there's a blink meter. So there's a meter that says how dry your eyes are getting, and then I think you have to click or press a button to blink. So there'll be certain points where this thing breaks out and starts chasing you, and you have to keep looking at him or else he'll break your neck. And you have to blink every so often. Every time you blink, he gets closer to you and closer to you. You know what I mean? So that's a game that, you know, since I've read so much of that SCP website, at one point I was kind of addicted to it, just reading all these creepy stories, you know what I mean? But to see them all conceptualized in the game and presented that way, I was like, oh, this is cool, and I'm really into this stuff, but yeah, I'm never gonna play that, dude. Other games like that, I think Until Dawn, you know, that game where you make choices about teens in a cabin in the woods. That one I'm only interested in because it's free on PlayStation Network, and everybody has seemed to played it and is recommending it. But I'm probably never gonna play it because it's scary. That and Outlast. Outlast has, from what I can tell, a pretty cool story about people running experiments on mental patients. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
It grows into something more with I think there was a DLC to the first one called The Whistleblower, where you play as the person sending the letters or vice versa. And that game is scary as shit. From what I've seen, I haven't even finished watching playthroughs of it because it's fucking scary. But the story is so interesting to me that I kind of want to power through it. I'll probably watch it tomorrow during the daytime though. And I heard part two is even crazier. It has more to do with religious shit and getting possessed and things like that, which I think kind of ties in to the first game. I don't know. Like I said, those games are super interesting. Probably have crazy backstories, but I would never play them on my own. I don't think I'd even play with anybody else, dude. I'd just be too freaked out, man.
Yeah. On a very side note, you know, like all that stuff with the creepy pasta. Okay, so like I remember watching some of these videos on creepypasta Pokemon, and I was like, "What? Why would Pokemon scare me and stuff like that?" But it turns out like some of these are actually like pretty creepy. Like it gets a little bit deep, you know. Some of the Pokemon like Hypno, it has a lullaby. You know the
Mm.
one that hypnotizes people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you think, oh yeah, it's just a plain looking Pokemon, but then it turns out like when you're reading his lullaby, like what he does is he lures children away, and these children go missing, and it becomes like I think it's in a like the Pokedex or something like that. And there's another Pokemon called the Drifloon. Drifloon. He's like a balloon Pokemon,
Okay.
and what he does is lures children, um but in his Pokedex, let me read his Pokedex for the Drifloon. It says it tugs on the hands of children to steal them away. However, it gets pulled around instead. A Pokemon formed by the spirits of people and Pokemon. It loves damp and humid seasons. It is whispered that any children who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds onto it, it could go missing. So it turns out,
What?
like, yeah,
Pokemon are kidnapping kids. So does Hypno eat
yeah.
them or something? Or
Let me read the lullaby. I think I pulled it up. It says, "Oh, little children, you mustn't leave. Your families for you will grieve. Their minds will unravel at the seams, allowing me to haunt their dreams."
this is real.
But
That
yeah,
can't be actually written by the Pokemon creators. Are you serious?
Yeah. And then he says, "But surely all of you must know that it is time for you to go. Oh, little children, you weren't clever. Now you shall stay with me forever." So
What?
I was
No
like
way,
getting
dude.
freaked out.
That's
Yeah,
not.
dude.
Someone made that up. Nobody.
You gotta
at
check it
Nintendo,
out.
Game Freak. Nobody wrote that, dude. Somebody.
You gotta check it out, dude. And then Lavender Town.
Yeah.
You know,
the
like
Lavender
remember,
Town one is crazy.
do you remember like the ghost Pokemon that you meet? I forget. There's a ghost that you meet that you couldn't identify as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
No matter
You
how
have to
many
use
times
that
you catch it.
Silphco thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes
And then
Marowak or something.
Yeah, it was Marowak. But like I forgot. Just watch like a YouTube video of the creepypasta of Lavender Town, and it like explains a little bit like Pokemon was supposed to be turning into, I think, Ghastly when they die.
Uh-huh.
But I forget. There's so much different lore, and there's like another version of Red, and I forgot he was called like Murderous Red or something like that.
What?
But yeah, like you wouldn't believe it. Like at first I was like, oh yeah, people.
I don't
make
believe it
these
now,
things
dude.
up. Just trust me. Go watch these YouTube videos.
Oh
You'll get creeped out. But like the Drifloon, that one's actually in the Pokedex.
Mhm.
But there's many different types of Pokemon that are pretty creepy. And I think one, maybe Gengar was a creepy one where he eats your dreams.
Eats your dreams. Yeah. I've seen like pretty graphic pictures of him eating people's dreams, dude. Where it's like, okay, dude, that's my favorite Pokemon. I didn't need to see that.
So yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff, and I was like, man, I thought Pokemon was just like a playful thing, but maybe these actual creators were, had a lot of stuff hidden in mind.
Japan's good at that though, aren't they? Hiding these deeper, darker themes behind something cute, like My Neighbor Totoro. Have you ever seen that movie? That Studio Ghibli movie? It's about like someone turned it into a story about the family's mother, or the mom in the family, that she's dead or something like that, and the whole story is about them grieving about it. Because the whole time I think during that movie she's sick in the hospital or something, but they say she dies at a certain point. I don't know, but either way, there's these deeper, darker tones to something that's played off as supposed to be super cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Japan's good for that. God, I'm fucking turning into a weeb, man. Slowly but surely, bro. If I ever dye my hair blue, dude, you need to slap me and say, Brent, stop it, dude. But yeah, with all this said, what is the one that stands out in your mind the most? Is it the Slender Man? Is that the scariest moment in your video gaming career, man?
The one that hurt me was Slenderman. The one that creeped me out was, I would say, that the house. The one that we played all together.
Mhm.
That was the one I couldn't like sleep for a couple of days. I had to sleep with the lights on, dude. I was so stressed just because I have a strong imagination. It's like, man, why you gotta put that shit in my head?
I think the one for me for sure was PT. PT kind of fucked me up, man.
Yeah, that was the second one.
For real. Because there's points where you hear people getting murdered, they're getting drowned and then stabbed, and everything just sounds so realistic, you know? Just the screams and stuff, they're ear-shattering, man. It's kind of scary, dude. And then there's just a fetus in a fucking sink that's crying and moving around. And then at one point he starts talking to you about, you know, I'm gonna kill you later on in this, and you're just like, wait, what, baby? No. Stop, dude. You know, and then there is those ambient noises. At one point there's a fridge hanging from the ceiling, and it sounds like there's a baby crying in it, dude. Oh my god. Oh, man. And then the worst part, when the radio tells you, look out behind you, and you fucking turn around. Ghost gets in your face and breaks your neck. Oh my god, dude. I can't believe we played that game.
And we beat it.
See, and that's the genius thing about that game too, is it made you put on the headphones, right? Because you had to talk into the microphone.
Yeah.
At the end of it, to talk on that phone.
So creepy. Yep.
Those sounds are just in your ear the whole time, of just like scary white noise, you know what I mean? Ugh. Yeah. Dang, they really missed out. I think by letting go of Kojima and not making that game, they missed out on millions, dude. It's a fucking shame, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. But let's try to lighten things up, man, and go into our game recommendations for this week. Unless you had something else scary you want to talk about, man. I'm trying to get us out.
Out of the scary zone.
Yeah.
My recommendation is Left 4 Dead. I don't know if that was really scary, you know. When you're playing with your buddies, the team of 4 people, especially like when one person makes it across the bridge but doesn't want to turn around. Doesn't want to turn around, but
what? That sounds familiar, dude. What?
Remember that time when it was like me, you, Eric, and Russ, and I think it was Russ, but we were all crossing the Left 4 Dead bridge, and then
I remember that.
Yeah. Eric revives you, but Eric goes down and you just bolt.
Yeah, dude.
And you're the only one that survived.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, but I definitely recommend that game because it's like it forces you to co-op pretty good, and you have to stick together. And usually when you're down a member, it gets harder. There's more enemies, you know, less people to take other zombies or whatever those things down. And it's fun because it's fast paced, and you always have that pressure that you're gonna, you know, get taken or you're gonna get killed. And you know, it makes you like, you have to think quick on your feet. You have to like run to the destination while protecting you and your buddies, because sometimes there's a special monster that will pull you from the group, or like you were mentioning a while back, is that if you stray too far from the group, you get pulled from like a liquor or something like that.
Those are developer tricks. You're supposed to stick with the group in that game.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun. It's like always have that tension of horde. You're fending off hordes of zombies, and you know, sometimes you barely make it by the scrap of your teeth. And you know, even the mods make it even really great too, like the McDonald's mods. If you want to be a worker at McDonald's shooting zombies. Or it'd be Legolas, and yeah, so it's pretty fun. I definitely recommend playing that game. I think it's only like couple bucks now.
Mhm.
Maybe it's only like $10. But if you can get like a group of 4 of your friends to play it on the Steam, then yeah, it's definitely worth the purchase.
Yeah. The game I'll recommend is a little bit of a creepy game. And I just found out right now that it's not available anymore. So I'll just ruin the whole thing for you and tell you what you missed out on. It was this game called Moirai. It's spelled Moirai. And it was this free game on Steam. And basically what you did was it was this 2D kind of, it was a pixelated world, but it was first person. So you walked around a farm, did different things. It's a small area, and you talk to a couple people, and they go, "Oh, I think you talked to this guy," and he goes, "Hey, my wife's missing. She's been in the she went in the caves and she never came back. You know, this little mine that's in town." And you tell him, "Okay, man, I'll go search for your wife for you." You know what I mean? So you go down into the cave, and it's kind of creepy. I think you run into skeleton monsters and you fight them. I don't really remember. And then it ends up you reach the end and you find her. You find the guy's wife or whatever, and she says, "My husband beats me." I think she slits her wrists or something. So she's down there, she's bleeding, but I guess she didn't do it right, and she's too weak to like make it back out. So she goes and tells you, "Oh, my husband's been beating me. I just want to end my life, blah, blah, blah." And you have the choice of helping her kill herself or trying to save her.
Jeez.
And no matter what you pick, she dies. It's either you kill her or you say no and she calls you a coward, I think spits blood at you, and dies anyways, right? So you start making your way out of the cave, and no matter what, if you killed her, then you have blood on you. If you didn't help her kill herself, then she spits blood, so you have blood on you anyways, right? So you're walking out of the cave so you can tell the husband what happened. And as you're walking out, you run into this guy and you say, oh no, wait, I skipped a part. So as you're walking into the cave, this guy walks out at the same time and he's got blood on him. And you get to ask him one of 2 or 3 questions, and you ask him, or like, "What are you doing here?" or what's that blood on you? Or "Did you see anybody down there?" Right? And depending on what you ask him, he'll give you an answer, and then you get to choose what to do, whether you kill him, arrest him, or let him go, I think are the choices. So in my playthrough, I just let the guy go, whatever. So I went through, and then when all that happened, I found the girl down there. She was bleeding and she spit the blood on me, whatever. And I started walking back out. As I'm walking back out, a guy walks in and he asks me one of the 3 questions, and I have to type in my answer. You know what I mean? So I'm typing in my answer. I'm like, there's this lady that wanted to kill herself down there, but I didn't do it. She spit her blood at me, and that's why this blood's on my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I put that as my answer. And then the game ends, and it asks for your email address. And what happens is the next person that plays the game, they'll have that decision of whether they let you go, they kill you, or they arrest you. And you'll find out in your email, dude. I know, it was so amazing, dude. And it was free. And I don't know why they took it down. I'll have to read more into it, but apparently it's not on the Steam store anymore. But I thought it was so genius that, you play this game and you run into somebody and you ask him the question and you can decide his fate. So whatever fate I decided for that guy, I decided to let him go. Whoever that was got an email from me saying, "Hey, congrats, dude, you got away." And I think the guy that saw me leaving the cave, he ended up killing me or something. But that's wild. I'll have to look it up and see why I got taken down, man. But if it was still up, I would recommend that for sure. But yeah, that is it for us this week. Next week, I want to talk about a video game series that's been out for a long time, especially with the release of its latest installment. We're going to talk about Mario. Super Mario Brothers. Just anything Mario. The games we've played, games we haven't played. This guy has spanned since I think before we were born. There was Mario. wasn't there?
Mario.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And just how it's grown into just a defining thing, man. And his effect on just the world, man. Mario's crazy. Mario's a huge deal, man.
Still is, yeah.
So yeah, that'll be it for us. But before then, Rick, some words of wisdom.
Don't go trick or treating. You can save money and time by eating your nephew's candy.
All right, guys, we'll see you next